Hey, what's up, YouTube? Longbox Love Affair here. Just a quiet Saturday afternoon, and was cleaning out the closet and thought I have some contest videos to make. So I've been slacking on those. I've missed a lot of contests, so I'm trying to stay more up to date. So today I'm doing a combo video for CWoodard19 and the Simply Incredible Podcast. So I hope you all don't mind me combining your contest entries here, but there were some similarities. So let's start with CWoodard19. This is his 200 subscribers contest. So congratulations on the 200 subs. You're on your way. And it seems like not long ago you had a contest that I missed that was 100 subs. So you're growing, and yeah. So I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring here. So his contest. A lot of people talk about artists, and that's how I got my start into comics. But this is a contest asking who's your favorite writer, what's your favorite story, and also spotlighting an underrated story. And I had to think a little bit about this, like which writer do I really enjoy? And I realized that I gravitate towards the cosmic comics quite a bit. Silver Surfer, Adam Warlock, Thanos, and so forth. And really a defining story in my comic evolution was Infinity Gauntlet. And so the Infinity Gauntlet series, it came out right when I started collecting. And number 6, the last issue of the series, was the first one I picked up. So I read that cover to cover over and over, and slowly was able to pick up the other issues for a little bit more money as a kid. They weren't that expensive, but I was able to pick them up. So to spotlight the Infinity Gauntlet, I found my Silver Surfer 34. Yeah. When Thanos returns. This was a book that was untouchable as a kid. I had a $5 a week allowance. I don't even think I was working at that point. I was still underage, not allowed to work. So I didn't have an after-school job or anything, so this book I never got until later on. But it was definitely a grail at that time. So it's the return of Thanos in normal day continuity. He had been killed off for a while in some Avengers and Marvel 2-in-1 books. Excuse me. And those were ones I never even knew about. And I did appreciate in Marvel Comics that they had at the bottom, they had these footnotes at the bottom panels. It was like, remember this happened in X-Men 5, or remember this happened in Silver Surfer 2. So it provided me a reference point to go back and say, okay, I'm going to write these down. These are books that I'm going to look for. So Silver Surfer 34 is definitely an amazing key for me. I used to have a bunch of these. I think I just have a couple now. I hope this is not my only copy because the cover is slightly faded. But it sort of signifies the launch of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline for me. And so my favorite writer, I think, has to be Jim Starlin. Jim is an amazing writer. He used to draw as well, but he hurt his arm, apparently, a year or two ago. And so he no longer draws, but he still writes, and he still does the conventions. I got to meet him last year. Actually, no, earlier this year, and got a signature on my Silver Surfer 43. I think that was the first Infinity Gauntlet. So definitely a huge fan of his work. I'm a big fan of Adam Warlock and Thanos. So this one signifies my favorite story, or the beginning of my favorite story. So that's the first and second part of the contest. The last part of the contest is a favorite underrated story. So I'm going to stay within the frame of the cosmic folks, and I'm going to show off Annihilation Conquest number 6. This is the first brand new Guardians of the Galaxy when they got revamped, and thus the impetus for the movies that came out. So super cool Adam Warlock on the cover, Quasar, you got Ronan, this Wraith guy, which didn't go anywhere, Star-Lord, and Nova. Really awesome set of guys and gals that are part of that run. Annihilation Conquest, Annihilation, those were books that really brought me back into the fold of the cosmic superheroes. I had taken a break from them. I hadn't been collecting Silver Surfer. There was no more Thanos going on. And Annihilation brought them back to the forefront. And I was like, let me give them another try. And that's when I was ramping up my collection again for the second time. So Annihilation was a really great reintroduction of those characters. So really love this run. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. There are two, so it's Annihilation, and then there's a sequel. There's Annihilation Conquest, which brought Guardians of the Galaxy back into the universe. So these are my contest entries for CWoodard19. So thanks, man. Good luck. Keep up the good work. And yeah, keep on watching. So there we go. Okay, the next and last contest entry for this video is for the Simply Incredible Podcast. So I thought I was subscribed to them, and I went looking around, and I thought I'd been watching some videos of theirs, but I think they were just popping up in my feed, so I realized I wasn't subscribed. So I made that change not too long ago. So yeah, I'm happy to be part of it again. I don't know what happened. But this is the 1,200 subscribers, 1,200 subscriber contest. And basically he wants us to talk about the hobby, why we love the hobby, showing off maybe a grail, favorite story, yeah, just and then shouting out a YouTuber. So I'm going to shout out a YouTuber first because I don't want to forget that. And it's a YouTuber that I recently discovered and have grown to really appreciate his videos. It's Comics by Bueller. And what he does is lately in some of his videos is take a full run of books. So he did Web of Spider-Man and he did X Factor, and he pulls out some of the keys, some of the first appearances, some of the underrated books, so that as a hunter, as a comic hunter out there in the community, you can look at them, you can put an eye to the visual of the comic and know which ones might have first appearances that could be spec worthy or may not be, but just worthy to know. So I really found that valuable and wrote down a couple books of his that he was showing off. He has a really great collection. Maybe he has a store, I'm not sure, but definitely a great collection. So shouting out Comics by Bueller. So definitely check him out, and I'll try to put the link down below. That said, Simply Incredible Podcast. Let's talk about what got me in my collecting, my passion, why I love the hobby. So I got into collecting from my grandfather, who bought me my first comic book, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, #1, at a gas station before taking a road trip. Read that ad nauseum. Never picked up the other ones until recently, and slowly got into collecting. I got into reading Sleepwalker, which I just got #1. I got many #1s. I can't believe I didn't bring those out. Let me go grab those. All right, I'm back. So I just, too good to pass up because it fits the theme, but all my Sleepwalkers that I recently picked up in a really cheap eBay lot. There are a couple in here that don't have many spine creases, so I'm probably going to get those cleaned and see what happens. But I remember collecting, I bought #3, and #3 had all of the Marvel characters on the cover surrounding Sleepwalker, and I was like, well, I know some of these characters, probably from cartoons or what have you, figures, action figures. And I ended up trying to get #1, and I don't think I ever really picked it up until later in life, but I collected most of the series, well, probably the first 15 issues, starting with #3 to maybe 18 or 19. But really liked this character, got into Todd McFarlane's run as Spider-Man, and then more Marvel. So this character didn't really go many places, although he's starting to be spotlighted a little bit more. But I just love the hobby where there's just, I love the art. I'm a big art person, and work in the arts, and just really gravitate towards powerful covers, artwork style. Jim Lee was a big influence on me, Rob Liefeld, and Simonson, Blevins from Sleepwalker. So I just really gravitate towards powerful covers and colors, and got sucked into the X-Men universe and the Spider-Man universe. Books I never thought I would own, I owned later in life, like this X Factor 24. And I remember finding this in a shop all beat up, and I passed on it, but eventually found another one. I love the hunt. And lately with YouTube, I've been able to dive into different comic hunts and finding things on Craigslist or eBay, or at my LCS. So you never know what you find. When I went home to visit my father, I went to a person's house that was selling things on Craigslist, and got Tomb of Dracula, the first blade. What number is this? 12? 10. The first blade for $1. It's not the best condition, but I showed this off a couple months ago. Not the best condition, but definitely one that I'm going to hold on to, and I'll probably slab it. I've I've gotten into slabbing books lately that I think either have value or ones I just want to preserve, and it's a way of reintroducing myself into the collection that I own, and just reinvigorate myself. So this beauty here, unfortunately, it's a 9.2. It's not the high money book 9.8. But I'm selling this on eBay right now because I'm trying to finance some other books in my collection to bring into my collection. But this is definitely a hot one with Captain Marvel. I used to collect statues. I've sold all those off because I have no space for that. I can't display them necessarily. I have a couple that I've held on to. I've held on to a Mike Mignola Batman, black and white, that's about yay high. I've held on to a black Spider-Man, black costume Spider-Man, because I really love that costume and that character. And I've held on to a Hellboy Midnight Blue San Diego Comic-Con variant statue. Those are all way in the back of the closet that I can't get to at the moment, but because I have one big walk-in closet that serves as a collection of everything. Some comic boxes, other home stuff, some furniture, some files, so it's hard to get into. So I wish I had more room to display my collection, but I don't. That's what I pay for living in a city. And then other books I just never thought I could find in my life, realizing, as a kid, that they were unattainable, are soon, they become attainable again. So I've shown this before, I'm going to show it again. This is a super grail of mine that I wanted for so long, waited and waited, and then I finally found a decent grade one that is in beautiful colors and copy. So this first Green Goblin, just grabbing it while I could, trying to collect the rest of my Spider-Man run. And I only need 6 more in Amazing Spider-Man, plus Amazing Fantasy 15, and then I'm done. So what do I do then? I don't know, but I'm going to try to slow down and not take it too fast, because can't afford it. You gotta collect responsibly, right? So yes, and I talked about my favorite story in the previous section of this video with Infinity Gauntlet and Annihilation. So those are all just some favorites of my collecting, and I used to collect quite a bit in terms of different titles, and I'm trying to narrow that down so I don't run out of space. I'm trying to sell off some things so that I get more room in my closet, more room in my collection, and just really focus on some very clearly defined key books that I can find. Mostly key Marvels, but I have a feeling that once I get my Spider-Man stuff accomplished, that maybe I'll switch to some key DCs, first Supergirl, first Batgirl, things like that I've seen in some videos that are really beautiful. I'm really envious of those books. So everyone who has those is really stoked, and it would be cool to have those in my collection and just have a collection of keys. I just am too much of a completionist and want to get some of those 6 Silver Age Spider-Mans first. So thanks everyone for watching. Congratulations to CWoodard19 and the Simply Incredible Podcast. We got CWoodard19 with 200 subscribers, plus they got more now. He's got more now. And then the Simply Incredible Podcast with their 1,200 subscribers. That's, and growing. That's amazing. So that's that. So thanks everyone for watching. Check out those channels. Check out Comics by Bueller. And if you haven't subscribed to me, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.